Hey peeps, it's your girl Daxania and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are back with another fan art and a movie review for the newest Marvel film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And wait for the end of the video if you want to see me turn this masterpiece into somewhat of a 3D portrait. Thought it was cool, wanted to share that process with y'all, so I'm excited for you guys to see it. Please forgive me if I mispronounce any names of the characters and actors I mentioned in this review. I watched interviews just to make sure that I at least try my best to say them correctly, but I know I may slip up. And I have never read the comic book, so I'm going into this with a different mindset. So if you have more info on the comics, please enlighten me in the comment section, please and thank you. And as always, there will be spoilers later in this video, but I'll give you guys a heads up when we get there. But for now, here are the non-spoilers and a quick review. I wasn't necessarily hyped for this movie, but I was curious because it's Marvel. But I also feel like the marketing for this movie was done kind of poorly. Not necessarily saying they should have released like 5 or 6 different movie trailers, but being that they are heading into their next phase, there would be just more advertisement for it. But that's my opinion. I don't think Disney and Marvel Studios really hyped this up like any other film. I mean, that's just what I noticed. But anyways, seeing Kung Fu brought back a lot of memories from my childhood growing up, and after watching it, that's exactly what this film did. The fighting sequences and choreography were just so well done, and it had me doing that iconic move that you see in the trailers, with the whole leg wrapping around. Thus, I would like to add and suggest that you guys watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and Rush Hour 2. That is, if you guys haven't seen those movies already, because you know, these different generations, I don't know what they have seen, what they have not seen, but you know, if you kind of want to just, I guess, spice up your life a little bit, please check out those 2 movies because there's a lot of influences from these 2 films, but I'll go into more details, especially about the Rush Hour 2 stuff, in the spoiler section. Awkwafina was pretty good in this movie. Back in my Raya and the Last Dragon review, I said she's a hit or miss for me, and in this movie I thought she was pretty chill. I don't think she was overwhelming. She was funny when she needed to be, but also I do feel like this movie could have done fine without her, or at least like the amount of screen time that she had. I get it, she's Awkwafina, cool, whatever, she has her fans, but honestly I think like her character was just kind of there. But I'll go into more details about that in the spoiler review. Overall, this movie was very entertaining, and so far I'm hearing it's doing well in the box office. As for the rating, I do give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Now on to the spoiler reviews. This is your warning. I do want to go into detail about the fighting choreography, especially if some may be confused of why I suggested that you watch Rush Hour 2. There's a scene in Shang-Chi that was influenced by Jackie Chan, and it's the building construction scene with the bamboo that was in Rush Hour 2. Well, they basically kind of recreated that whole scene in Shang-Chi, and I was like, this is pretty dope, you know, I can't even get mad at it. Like, I think it's pretty awesome that they did that, and honestly I was just cheesing the whole time. And I think what really, I guess, confirmed that it was taken from Rush Hour 2 was when Katie was hanging from the bamboo. Katie played by Awkwafina, and I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely from Rush Hour 2. And remember when I brought up Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Well, excuse for the mispronunciation, Michelle Yeoh, who starred in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, was Auntie Nan in Shang-Chi, and I was like, oh my god, she was like my favorite character in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So I was like kind of fangirling, if you guys can't even tell. Like, I was really excited for that, and I haven't seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in forever, but I love that movie. I've seen that movie quite a few times when that first came out, so I gotta go back and rewatch it now. You better, Marvel, you better, Disney, you guys better get this queen. We stand for Auntie Nan. Okay, so now that I had finished going into depth about the stuff that I was hyped about, let me go into details about the cons, okay? Like, just stuff that bothered me. It may seem small to others, but I mean, this wasn't necessarily big, but it did kind of just like rub me the wrong way, I guess. Not the wrong way, whatever. I just had an issue with this. Okay, so listen. So in the movie, Shang-Chi and his sister Xiaoling are led by the fake Mandarin who was in Iron Man 3, played by Ben Kingsley. And Ben Kingsley's character, right, can communicate with this magical creature that he named Morris, and this magical creature is from the Talo village where their mother is from, right? So anyways, you know, thanks to the fake Mandarin and this creature, they are led to the Talo village to warn them that their father is gonna come and basically like try to open up the gateway, the door that has this evil beast right in there. But their father, of course, thinks it's his wife calling out to him, begging to be freed, and that he's going to destroy the people in the Talo village if they don't basically let him do what he wants to do, right? Which is break out his so-called wife that's stuck in this door, this cage, this prison. Firstly, the fake Mandarin was a surprise at first. I was like, oh damn, like he's from Iron Man 3. And it was, you know, it was chill to see him and all at first. But for me, I just felt there really wasn't a reason for him to tag along for the ride either, and the only reason why is because he was the only one that understood this mythical creature. But it's like, why not just have this creature speak Chinese and then just have the characters like just kind of translate to Katie, because Katie doesn't know Chinese all that well of where to go and all that stuff, right? But we have Ben Kingsley who can understand this mythical language or something of some sort or whatever. That's what's just kind of like it's kind of random, but whatever, right? So now they get to Talo village and they have 3 days to train, right? This is my other issue is coming, you guys. They have 3 days to train and prepare for their father's arrival. Listen to me carefully, okay? Shang-Chi and Xiaoling already know a good amount of like kung fu and how to fight and stuff. They're very knowledgeable and they're fast learners and such, right? But Katie, on the other hand, Awkwafina's character, is learning how to shoot with a bow and arrow for the first time. And I'll repeat again, they have 3 days to train and prepare. 3 days. So when shit hits the fan, right, everyone is fighting and is getting their soul taken away, and that big monster is sucking up the dragon soul, who is called, I believe, the Protector, right? So this big giant beast, this soul sucker, and then this in the dragon, they're fighting, right? So Katie is basically their only hope at this point to aim and shoot for the throat, so that way he can not suck up the dragon soul who's trying to protect all of mankind, right? Tell me why on the first shot she makes it. She succeeds in her first shot. Now, mind you, after she made that shot, she's standing there like, oh shit, I actually did it. I was surprised too, don't get me wrong. You know, I was watching, I was like, oh damn. But then I kind of felt my face frown up real quick. And knowing me, I mean, I would have preferred to be on edge. And realistically, I think what should have happened was that they should have had her miss twice, right? So let's say like she shoots and let's say one just goes off, right? And then let's say the second one, it's almost there, but this creature like is in the way of the arrow, right? And so the arrow hits one of the little tiny monsters, right? And then this is like, oh shoot, I'm down to my last arrow. She's gonna take a deep breath, and then that's when she successfully makes the shot. I think we should have been more on edge as far as, you know, people who are viewing it. And to me, I think that's a little bit more realistic for Katie. Then my boyfriend, on the other hand, he had something to add to it too. He's like, why didn't they direct it to where maybe like being that that's the last arrow and it's like, oh my god, like it looks like maybe her best friend Shang-Chi just, it's like he can't hold off any longer to try to help the dragon and stuff, and then that's when she's really got to kick it into gear, and then that's when she makes it, you know, kind of like let Shang-Chi be that driving factor, right? But that's just our opinion, you know. Don't get me wrong, I'm not done talking about Katie's character yet. So in order for me to finish my thoughts about Katie, right, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the mid-credit scene. There's also like an end credit scene, but let me talk about the mid credit scene real quick. So throughout the movie, you never really know where these rings came from, but the mid credit scene with Wong, Shang-Chi, Katie, Captain Marvel, and Bruce are trying to figure that out. So obviously, you know, it's like, okay, we'll get more info on the rings in the next movie, maybe, or whatever. However, Disney and Marvel is setting up this new phase. We'll see where these rings came from. So I'm not gonna knock it down, because I think that in the beginning I was like, oh, they didn't even really say where these rings came from, like where his father got these rings. It's just like, oh, well, legend has it, blah blah blah, but nothing was really confirmed. However, and I'll get to Katie in a moment, hold on. In the mid-credit scene, it was kind of very suspicious, right? And me and my boyfriend, we were talking about this. I'm no Captain Marvel fan, all right? But when she had to dip, as soon as they realized that Shang-Chi's rings were sending a signal, that was just very odd to me. Like, as soon as they recognized, like, oh, it's sending out a signal, right? And then suddenly she gets the signal. She's like, oh, hey, I gotta go, right? I gotta dip. Bruce has my number, right? She was just so quick with it. And it's kind of suspect. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. And when my boyfriend brought that up, I was like, okay. I might be a little bit biased because like I said, I don't really like Captain Marvel. I have issues with her. But yeah, no, I think it is very suspicious. I think she knows something. But let us know if you think that we might be reaching. It might be a huge reach, but it's definitely an interesting thought to have. Then too, also, I thought it was interesting because like when they were like, oh, the rings are sending out a signal, right? And in my head, I was like, oh, who is it sending a signal out to? But they question it as like, where is it sending a signal? Which is, you know, it's a logical question, but I just never thought about that. And then all of a sudden, Miss Captain Marvel had to dip all of a sudden. So, okay, the other issue I had with Katie, I really felt like she didn't really need to be there with Wong, Captain Marvel, and Bruce. I really felt like she wasn't really that important enough to be there. I stated in the beginning, but I'm going to remind you guys, I've never read the comics. I've never read a Marvel comic, nor a DC comic. I'm more of a manga reader myself, but you know, sometimes I do rely on my boyfriend to kind of give me those in-depth details, but I don't think he's read the Shang-Chi comics, so I'm just kind of going off of what I have watched based on the movie, not the comics. So I don't know if Katie has a bigger significance in the comics that I don't know about, but based on what I saw in the movie, she could have stayed her ass at that dinner table with their other friends, and Shang-Chi, I think, is like the main reason he should have been there and not her. Now, okay, yeah, she did shoot an arrow and she like helped out with the whole beast situation thing and stuff, but yeah, no, just because she made that one shot does not, I don't think she deserves a seat at the table yet. I mean, maybe someone's gonna train her. She might turn out like Hawkeye. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, no. I think she's just kind of third wheeling it. And then too, I think like with Katie, I'm not saying that I hate her character. I don't hate her character, but I think there was a missed opportunity for them to actually make this more of a sibling bond, being that Shang-Chi and Xiaoling didn't really have a relationship. Like what, they haven't seen each other for 10 years, right? And I think it should have been more about them than having Katie tag along. That's just my opinion, but I mean, shoot, we better get more of Xiaoling, because the post credit shows her basically revamping her father's lair. She's taken over the throne. There could have been more to her, like if Katie wasn't third wheeling it, and that's that's just my take on it. That's my opinion. This movie is still at 8.5 out of 10, but feel free to let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, feel free to subscribe, but don't feel obligated to. It's just a suggestion. And once again, thank you all for listening, and thanks for watching, and I shall chat with you soon in the next video. Bye!